Welcome back to Depressed Sourdough, where I make a sourdough starter and subsequently sourdough bread in order to gain a single ounce of dopamine. It is 8:31 a.m. and guys, look at her. She did so good last night. She almost tripled, which is great. She's at her peak. She's active. She's looking so good. So we're gonna get started this morning with our bread. Okay, we've got our bowl and we're gonna add in about 200 grams of sourdough starter, 700 grams of water, 1,000 grams of flour, and about 20 grams of salt. But I'm gonna add the salt later because people say that that's better. Who knows? I'm gonna try to make 2 loaves. I'm gonna try to do 2 different methods. I'm gonna try to do one where I do everything and bake it today, and then one where I put one in the fridge overnight and bake it tomorrow. And we'll just see what happens. Look at how beautiful and bubbly she is. Oh, so good. Okay, I've got the starter and water in here, and I'm just gonna mix it up. I did get this little Danish dough whisk off of Amazon. I didn't do a lot in terms of getting like special equipment to do this, and what I did get, I really did not like splurge on. Like, you don't have to, honestly, and I didn't need to do any of it. Like, I didn't have to do any of this. I just kind of wanted a few different things to just really immerse myself in the experience, but it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. Just have fun making sourdough. I'm gonna stir this up and add the flour. All right, this is what we got. It's a little wet. I did add about 100 grams more flour because it was like so wet, but I'm just gonna trust the process. I'm going to cover it up with a tea towel, put it in the oven. The oven light's been on, so I'm just gonna shut the oven light off, just keep it in there because it's warm. And I'm gonna come back in an hour and do stretch and folds. Okay, we're back. It's been an hour and I still think it looks super like wet. So like, that's too wet. It's like spreading around. So I'm gonna add some more flour, and then I'm gonna do some stretch and folds, which basically you just pull the dough up, flip it over itself, and then it starts to create tension and help the gluten form in the dough. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'll show you what it looks like after. So this is what she looks like now. I'm gonna cover her up for a half hour, put her back in the oven where it's not as cold, and come back and do another set of stretch and folds. All right, I just did a second set of stretch and folds. Still pretty wet and sticky, but much more dough-like than before. This is kind of what she's looking like. Still, again, still very sticky, liquidy, but I think that's okay. I'm gonna stick her back in the oven and let her sit in there with the light on. And then I'm gonna go to Target and pick some stuff up, and then I'll be back to do another set of stretch and folds. All right, so I got back from Target and I did another set of stretch and folds. Still feels really wet to me, but again, just trusting the process. I just did another set of stretch and folds, and I have my headphones on because I've been listening to an audiobook while I've been doing some house chores. And did this last set of stretch and folds, and it actually looks pretty good. And one of the things that they say to note is that if it pulls away from the bowl easily and doesn't like really stick to the bowl, that it is probably doing well. So, and I can see like some bubbles starting to form kind of around the sides. So I think we're good to go. I'm gonna do the last bulk fermentation in the oven with the light on for about 4 to 6 hours. We'll see how she looks until she doubles in size. And then we will shape the dough, let it rest a little bit again, and we'll be ready to bake. All right, so she has proof. Look at her. She's doubled in size. So I'm going to turn her out and split her in two. I'm going to shape both of them, put one in the fridge overnight, bake her tomorrow, put one to ferment on the counter, and then I'll bake that one. Okay, I kind of got distracted because I was worried, but here she is. She's in the Dutch oven. I'm going to put her in and we'll see how she is. Everything went really well, except that I picked up the Dutch oven lid with my bare hand and burned my hand. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, here she is. She's looking pretty good. I'm a little nervous she's gonna be pretty dense, but I think she's looking edible. All right, so this is what she looks like. Kind of dense, a little bit wet. I probably should have waited a little longer to cut it, but that's fine. But looking pretty good, but yeah, just a little bit wet, but I'm sure she's still edible. We're gonna put some homemade butter on that and try it. Okay, it's really good. It is still kind of wet and dense, but I don't care. It tastes fucking delicious.